I know you see. Somehow the world will change for me and be so wonderful.
We can't do it as iconic as the people that are still in the
Ding,
game.
ding, ding.
Thank you, my friends. Somebody had to join in. I'm glad somebody did eventually. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, besties,
Yeah.
for the jury roundtable for Big Brother Disney Second Chances EPCOT. Here we sit with some of our jurors, the ones that could make it here tonight. We appreciate you all. I'm so happy to see all your lovely faces here in front of us once again. Missed you. Some of you I have seen more recently than others, but that's why we're here. We are here to talk about this final two and kind of weigh the pros, the cons, go through each aspect of this final two's game and kind of get each other's perspective as jurors so that y'all can go into your questions and everything tomorrow night kind of with more context and more of what you need to hear from this final two going into tomorrow. So we're going to leave this super open format. I will kind of guide y'all with questions or guide the discussion as I feel I need to, if I need to, but otherwise y'all feel free to just kind of break it down how you want, let it flow the way it flows, and have a good time.
First off, I want to say this is a really strong final two. I really am going in wanting the two of them to fucking battle it out. They both have some extreme highs and both have some lows, in my opinion. And I want to see them on their fucking shit. And I want to see where their heads are at even coming into it, who they think they have votes from already. Because honestly, this could really fucking go either way.
Yeah, no,
I definitely agree with you.
Completely agree.
I want to see if they can own up to the games that they've played, and if their perceptions of their game are the same as how because we've already talked a little bit in the jury chat about like how their games have gone, and I want to see if they have the same idea.
It'll certainly be interesting to see if we see on the outside what they've seen on the inside. And I think I can echo the sentiment of John and of everyone else so far that this is truly a toss-up. It's been really, really interesting and intriguing to see them play their games the way that they've played it. And there's still, I think, some questions that need to be asked to see. I mean, this could go either way. And I think that honestly, that's kind of cool, but also like makes it a lot harder for us.
Do you want to just go ahead and break down our thoughts on each person?
Sure,
I think that's probably a good way to do it. Just discuss each of them as a whole, like one at a time. Let's do ladies first then. Start with Miss Jill.
Jill has definitely been, I think, the more ruthless of the two. Jill has made moves. Jill has been accountable for some of them, but then there's a lot of times that she would make unnecessary lies, in my opinion. And she definitely got caught. I mean, but then she was able to weasel her way around. How many times in the jury chat did we be like, okay, Jill's on the block, she's coming in here this round? And
at least 3 times.
Yeah,
definitely. We were all shocked.
I was just real hopeful for that to happen.
Oh, dang.
I think we all had that sentiment, like at a certain point, though, because like even when I was on the block up against Jill, the round I got evicted, I fully thought, especially with how like Live Night and the Aftermath went, I thought I was definitely safe against Jill, but I was evicted unanimously, and so I was like, "Dang, Jill has a stronger hold on this game than I realized."
Yeah. Well, you said you told Marcelo to vote you out, right? Because at that point you were
No, I did not. I was begging everybody, even Marcelo. But what happened was I was at the beginning of the day, Marcelo told me he was keeping me. but we hadn't heard from Lyndon or Jacob. We didn't really hear from them until a little bit later in the day. And after a while, like I was in everybody's messages and I was like trying to spell out why I thought people should keep me. But then like maybe half an hour before the eviction, I see Lyndon and Jacob both typing to me. And then Marcelo comes in my DMs and is like, so, hey, I think Lyndon and Jacob are both evicting you. And so I think I have to as well. And I
Oh,
was
maybe
like,
that's what I meant. Yeah. But yeah, okay.
okay. I was like, what the heck? When did that happen?
Yeah.
I
But it
know.
speaks to Jill's power. Like she
Yeah.
was able to manipulate, or I don't know if she did too much manipulating, but I really thought she was gone. I thought I was riding so safe that.
Yeah. And then
I
I think
know part of
go
it.
ahead.
I think part of what led to my downfall too was I got bad information, I think, from Jill, whether purposefully or, just if she was trying to see where my head would go, that ultimately led to me putting both John and Marcelo up on the block. So that, and then we all know how that turned out with me. And there's just, it was pretty cutthroat. I mean, that's now twice in 2 games that I have been bamboozled by somebody that I know outside of the org community. So I guess the moral of this story is don't trust friends that you know previously. So Emily, if you're out there watching this, sorry.
Whoa!
Hey, she stuck the knife in my back, and fair play to her. And,
I know, but the
you
shame
know,
we're bringing
so-
back right now.
Luke said, I can forgive, but I don't forget.
I don't forget. I
Tea
don't
Jonathan
forget.
spilled.
Listen, I played Horton the Elephant in Seussical the Musical in high school, and elephants never forget. So,
Yeah.
right. So, but it's cutthroat, right? Like, I definitely, after that, I sort of watching my back the whole time in self-preservation mode based on the information that I had gotten from Jill. And it turned out that it was what led to my downfall, I think, or at least part of it. I'm not sure if it was all of it, but it was at least part of it, because it influenced the rest of my strategy.
Well, what was the information? I think I'm a little confused.
Something, I don't remember quite exactly what she said because it was on a call and not in messages, but it was something to the effect of talking about John and saying something to the effect of she wasn't really sure where John's head was at, and she had heard some things from other people about, John's doing this and John's doing that, and I fell for it. And John, I'm sorry, but I fell for it, bought into it hook, line, and sinker.
That's a good. Not a problem. I mean, we're all here now, so yeah.
Look at us go.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jill got a little lucky in the beginning of the game, and then she definitely managed to come over some stuff. Because when Jill was in the process of being out and about and moving and everything like that in the beginning of the game, she definitely was not as active as she was as the game progressed. And I think she could have been a week 1 nominee had Olivia literally refused to put either you, Timmy, or Jill up. She's like, I'm not putting any of my season 1 people up. I'm like, okay, so you literally just narrowed the amount of people down. And because Jill hadn't been talking, I figured she could have still done that, but we let Jill slip right under the radar then at that point.
Well, on that note, it's worth Olivia, and Jill formed something week 1. So, and from what I gather, that was the only thing Olivia managed to do. Like that's not even like shade to her. I think it was just like she got caught up. She got caught up with other stuff. So was probably just right place, right time.
Yeah.
I think Jill was also, she knew that she was kind of in a bad position, like going into that time. So she made alliances fast. I know I had something really quick with Jill. Like she got in with people even though she wasn't going to be around.
Yeah.
Another thing I think is interesting is that we're seeing Jill as the really cutthroat one and not the person who won 4 HOHs. And so like it's interesting that like she was being this cutthroat like mastermind when she didn't really have power all that much.
I mean, the amount of HOHs that they won was actually, I mean, luckily she won 2. Yeah, she won 2. Marcelo won 4. Yeah. So it's comparable. It's not like she just sat back and let everybody else take the power and do the nominees.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
she
absolutely.
Yeah.
I just mean like it's interesting like the difference in their 2 games, because Marcelo had twice the opportunities to be cutthroat and really make some big moves, but it seems like he didn't make people as mad as Jill seemed to have.
Well, I want to see who went home on Marcelo's HOH.
I was just thinking that. So it was Lyndon,
Jason, Jen, Linden.
And Timmy, Jason, yeah.
Jen, Linden. Yeah, I have the thing pulled up. I go with you on me all the time.
Okay.
love it, Jacob.
And I
But then
guess
Joe,
Stay strapped with the info.
And I guess in the case of Timmy and Jason, they ended up being people that the house just wanted to get out that week. So I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not going to agree with that statement, but
Well, okay, but
I know, but
No, but that's why I also said what I said when I got evicted, though, because of stuff that.
no, yeah.
You're right.
And it from what I heard, a lot of people were like saying stuff about Jill when they were going out. Like I heard from a lot of people that like, oh, X on their way out said this about Jill. I know Jason said something to me about Jill when he left. I know John, you said something about like me. I think me, Jill, and Marcelo.
and Alex.
Oh, and Alex.
All
Okay.
right, yeah.
I said it right to Lyndon, on my way out. And
So
then
it's not like Jill was playing like under the radar at all. Like people were seeing what she was doing the whole time.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, she was the last person to be nominated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, she did get nominated every other week after that.
Yeah.
So
unless you won HOH for
unless,
6 rounds
yeah,
of the
she
game,
didn't. She hasn't voted since Luke got out.
That's wow.
That's wild. Yeah.
that is so wild.
That's weird.
Dang. Okay.
I
And-
definitely remember getting something from Jason in the chat with Jason, Alex, and myself. I think I recall.
What a time.
That was, some island boys,
Let's go.
I also love how we had to explain that whole Vine or that whole TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok. That's my issue.
That to Alex, that was just the fun. Yeah,
That's like the first thing.
explaining the Island Boys meme was probably one of the highlights of this game for me. But I definitely recall something in Jason's final appeal to us about watch your back for Jill, watch your back for some other players, but I definitely recall Jill sticking out in that message. So it was like you said, Mikey, it wasn't necessarily under the radar. It was out there.
Yeah.
One of the things I was actually hoping Jenner Lyndon would be here for was there had been that like mini female alliance that had formed back at final 9 or 8, and Lyndon was laughing about it. But I don't actually know exactly how serious it was because, well, all 3 of them made it to Final 4. So was that legit something that ended up continuing? Which alliances were like, was she really loyal to, or was she literally just loyal to herself?
That's what I want to know too, because it seemed like Jill was really in with a lot of people in a lot of groups and getting information from a lot of sources. So I want to know where her loyalties truly lie.
and I guess I want to interject because early game, that's what I wanted to do. Like I saw her like in a lot of these groups early on in the game. I had something like she had something with Timmy, she had something with Alex, she had something with you, me, you, Mikey, and Jason. She had something with Jason.
Yep.
And I was witnessing it happening, like her being in a lot of these groups, and I think her biggest strength in her game is sort of like I don't necessarily I don't know if it's personable, if that's the right word. But I feel like when she got in with a lot of people, she made it feel like that you were their person, that you were her person, you were her number one. I think
Yes.
that's her greatest strength and what carried her in these last handful of rounds where she didn't even get a chance to vote. She had to sway people, move people her way. The thing that baffles me the most, and the move that I need to like know how the hell this happened, was Lyndon voting off Jen. I still don't understand this. Like
Lyndon, I don't want to like speak for her or anything, but Lyndon called me like right after she got out, and I asked her, and she said because she formed a final three with the two of them, not including Jen. So it seemed like Lyndon would have made final three no matter what.
It doesn't matter if she would have made the final two.
But yeah,
I want to know what Jill would have done if she won. I don't think she wanted to. Like,
oh, if Lyndon won?
no, if Jill won.
Jill won.
Oh, if Jill won.
I think Jill wanted to win, to be honest. I think she was in a position where I wouldn't even be surprised if, despite nominating her, Lyndon dates Jill to the end. That's the impression I've always got. At first, I thought it would be Marcelo because like the Animal Kingdom thing, but like seeing the game play out, that's sort of
wait. So you're talking about the last round if Lyndon won veto?
No, if Jill.
If Jill.
I think Jill was going to be taken to the end no matter what. That's the impression I'm sort of getting from that.
Yeah, Lyndon said that too. She would have taken Jill.
I'll go.
But
she was a lock in.
If we had to guess, who do we think Jill would have taken? Because I think as much as I know that like Jill and Marcella were close, I think Jill probably takes Lyndon.
I think she takes Marcella. That's the impression I have.
From the game that I left, Marcelo, but apparently the game's changed so much since then that I don't know.
I think it becomes, what does she want to face? Like if because her and Marcelo played very similar games. Do you want to try and argue against somebody like that? Which Marcelo wanted to, I guess, and I think took some major cojones to try and really have that strong battle in which you're comparing apples and apples. And I mean, against Lyndon, who played a very much different game, and it was going to just compare to how's the jury feeling about which type of style of game they feel is better.
Yeah. But okay, then we want to go to Marcelo's game then.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, I love this man so much.
Marcelo, like, I couldn't be upset ever. Like, I was always happy to talk with Marcelo. I know, like, I felt secure talking with Marcelo, even though I know that he had been Marcelo last time I played with him was always talking with everybody. But like, I felt like I could be like safe, and like every conversation I have was always ended good, and like we felt good with each other.
Yeah, one thing I think Marcelo did a little differently than Jill, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it didn't seem like Marcelo was in as many of the bigger like group alliances. It seemed like he really focused on talking one-on-one with people.
He was in one group alliance. That's the only one I know of.
Yeah, he was in at least one with me, but I know I was in like 3 or 4 with Jill. Sorry, at least 2. At least 2.
I had nothing with Marcelo. I had the one-on-one chat with him, and that's completely it.
And that's what I'm
really
saying.
had the one-on-one chat
with him and Jen.
I think that.
I don't know who.
Go ahead, John.
Oh no, I was going to say, and I think him having all of these one-to-one chats really speaks the fact that he was able to win the final competition in knowing us. Because, yeah, even though it was 2 truths and a lie, you got to know your people in order to win that.
Yeah,
and I think that he it allowed him to kind of control the information that he was telling people a little bit more, because when you're telling people information in big groups, they're more likely to spread it. But if you can control individually what you're telling people, you know what information is coming from what person, and you can kind of use that to your advantage. And I think he did that really well, because it seems like nobody felt burned by him. Nobody really felt lied to by him. And I think that's because he was very smart about who he told what, and it didn't come back to bite him like it did Jill.
Yeah, like before live night, he was one of the people to tell me, hey, there's a plan out there to backdoor you tonight. Like, he had given me that that heads up that this is in the works. If you're going to try and survive, you need to try and win something if you're going to play at all. So, I mean, knowing that was out there, made it's hard to explain. I was happy that he did that for me.
And like I was saying before, when I was talking about the round I got eliminated, he knew before I did that Lyndon and Jacob were going to vote to evict me, and he told me that information. So then I felt better about him before I was evicted, and so he was very smart about that, and I think he did that for a lot of us.
He did. I mean, literally the round that I went out, he was like, let's kind of talk about who stuff is going to keep us, and make sure that knew that I wanted if they're blindsided. And that kind of it made me feel secure with him, even though he wasn't a vote. We just kind of discussed the votes, basically.
Now, Jacob, you've got your chart. He was nominated, what, twice?
He was nominated. Yeah.
And one of them was by the Twilight Zone.
One of them was the Twilight, yeah.
So he literally was nominated once by
the last time he was.
I will say, I was actually the Twilight week. He would have gone up if he didn't win the Twilight.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So.
No matter what that week. Not that it means much. It was week 2.
It's
you put up Jason or Jen and Gianna. Okay.
Jen and Gianna, and then Jason.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time Marcelo was on the block was when Jazzy got sent home. Hasn't been put up since. So the last time I could genuinely see, which was a realistic, a route, was 5 if I had 1 veto.
Yeah.
I was intending on using him. That was the last time, and that was the last time he's ever really in danger, because he ends up winning the next 2 HOHs just outright. He was just the best competitor in the house.
I will say that. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
that week that that final noms were Jazzy and Marcelo, I was trying to get something together to blindside Marcelo, and the more and more people I talked to, I was shocked at how everyone was no, let's get Jazzy out instead.
Well, I mean, we still had our foretight of Animal Kingdom, and I don't think at that point we were willing to let any of us go.
No, I knew that, but even at that point, and the other people I talked to, that nobody was on board, and I think at that moment I was realizing that his social game is that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was.
And honestly, I think part of it for me was that I was in the Animal Kingdom group, and then I was also in the 1984 group, which was me, Jazzy, Jill, Jen, and Jason. And at that point was right as I was kind of focusing my target, I guess, on Jason, and it felt like a way to weaken Jason a little bit was to get out Jazzy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't necessarily that I didn't want Marcelo out, because I mean, I had a final 2 with him, but I know Marcelo's a good competitor, and he made it to final 2. It's definitely something that crossed my mind, but I just had other objectives at the time.
Crazy, because my rationale was one that was oh, Marcelo serves as a shield. Marcelo, I saw him being the person you see on Survivor getting voted off at 7th or 8th, because they're lovable. Everyone likes them. They're the Lane, the Christian. They're going to get voted off, but he just is never presented to be up on there. And I not only think it's a testament to his social game, I just think this is who he is. It's just this very warm and this kind-hearted person. I feel like his personality, especially on calls, he lights up the whole room. And I feel
He
like that
does.
type of energy that he exudes, that type of confidence, just makes you feel like John said, that feels comfortable with him.
Okay.
I feel like the
Mhm.
difference between how Jill was able to be personable with people and Marcelo was Marcelo, it didn't feel like game with Marcelo.
Mhm.
You feel like maybe Jill may have had something going on in the back of her mind, but you never felt like something was going on
Okay.
with Marcelo. And that you completely felt like disarmed by him. Like you dropped everything.
Okay, that might be a good question to ask Marcelo, specifically. Like, if the
What do you mean?
like if the persona he was putting off was for a game thing, or if it's just like how
he is.
yeah. Hello.
No. That's, sorry, I just started thinking about questions then at that point. Sorry, the John track of mind is not.
No, you're good.
I was going to ask. This is where I will interject because I think we are getting into kind of that flow. You've kind of discussed both of their games, but in both accounts, you're saying there are a lot of things that you still need to hear from them. So, along with what kind of questions do you want to ask to hear those things? What are the answers you're looking for from each to complete their story to make you willing to vote for them?
Yeah, Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob.
Because I feel like the best analogy I could come up with is we all have a rubric, right? We have a floor and we have a ceiling. The floor is the minimum we ask for of a player. If we could get to the end, this is like our basic values. The ceiling is the highest regard we could possibly see them as. You know, this strategic mastermind, this social butterfly, this comp beast. But my basement, even lower than the floor. Like something I shouldn't even need to put into question, but I feel like I am with one of these finalists, is that they're proud of the game that they play, and they can therefore consequently show ownership and take responsibility for the game. I don't think Marcelo's gonna have that. I really need Jill to sort of like be, because I've always interpreted Jill as someone who would like die on her morals, and I feel like whenever she would get caught in a lie, I feel like she would do a lot of backtracking, a lot of less like deflecting and more like arguing against the claim. Because I know both times I was caught with my pants down with her, that she was very argumentative, I guess that's what's like for a better word. So if I was going to vote for her to win, whom objectively in my mind, because I'm projecting as well to the game I wanted to play, I probably respect her strategic game more. I just need her to feel like if she owns this. Like, does she think she played an honest game? Because she did.
Jacob, on that note, I will say from one of the early calls I had with Jill, this has stuck with me the whole time. She said she wanted to play an Avery game, and Avery did not play. What's the right?
Deceptive. Well, I'm not trying to diss Jill.
Okay, Avery did play a deceptive game, but she knew that. I'm not gonna say Jill knows that, but like for some context.
I get what you're saying, and it's tough to describe what Avery's game is in single words, because Avery would make conversations, literally write dialogue of conversations that never happened,
okay,
and then he would send them to people. But that's not what Jill would do.
She was debating doing that at some point, but I literally had to tell her. I'd be like, no.
No, it would look so fake if she did that, because right after, and like most people know what Avery did.
Well, not even that. Well, not even that. I think it was just like
that's messy.
Context of the situation. I was like, you wouldn't even have this. Whatever. It was a good idea, but like,
yeah, it would have been found out.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
I'll say something that I want to hear from Marcelo is kind of like the opposite of what I want to hear from Jill. I want to hear him own like the strategy, and like I want to know what like the big moves that he made were, because as much as he was in power a lot, it felt like he wasn't really making huge moves. He was just kind of doing what he needed to do to get along. And so I just want to hear him take ownership of like things that he really feels like he did that shaped the course of his game.
I think I might actually take the flip side of that, and I want to ask both of them to own up and not apologize, face humility, and what was their biggest mistake that they made in this game. And because they both didn't play a perfect game. But what was your flaw? What was your flaw in this game? And if you can own up to what you made as a mistake, that speaks volumes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm interjecting anyway, but I also just want, because I hate, and this is just me, and maybe some people get off of it. I hate it when the finalists, like, they try to, like, they're answering like this very cutthroat, like the straight, like strategic, but while they're doing this, like appeasing the person, like, I wouldn't want to say this, it hurt me so much to do this, and that element is fine, but that was a question I remember asking of like, who deserves to be in the final two the most, and which jury doesn't deserve to be on the jury. Like, if you had to remove a juror, who would it be? Who deserves to be there the least? And it was Experiment, and Zoe was answering this. And to some effect, she said me because I walked from that game. But in the middle, like, I wouldn't say this normally, and I love Jacob to death, and like, he's an amazing human being. But like, that's just that's the only answer. He was the first. Like, I don't want that. I want them to say like, we didn't have a good relationship. I want you were not good for my game. You were a dangerous player, and we did not have a deal or something like that. I want that type of bluntness, that type of honesty, that type of transparency about, I did not feel good with you. We did not vibe as well as maybe some other people did. Small notes like that do wonders.
And kind of piggybacking off of that, a question that I always like someone to ask is what votes in the jury they think they already have.
Yes,
I was planning on
question.
doing that. Yeah.
I love that question.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be whoever's like going to go first or with it before they get a feel for anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It might be me. I mean, I'd be willing to do it.
Is everyone asking?
I think
questions?
they said
Madison.
Sorry,
I think
what
they
was the
said-
question?
Is everyone, since everyone's voting, is everyone asking questions?
Yes, if you read in the jury chat, I talked all about this.
We know I don't read things.
Literacy is important. Reading Rainbow.
I love
Anyway.
literature.
So the people that don't have an individual vote will each have 5 minutes with the finalists. Those with an individual vote will have 10 minutes. You can divide it as much as you want. You can talk at them the whole time. You don't have to ask a question. You can pop in and you can leave. You don't have to use the whole time. You can use all of the time. I don't care.
Just gonna hang out with him the whole time.
That's totally fine. Yes, Jacob.
Since I have 2 jury votes, can I have 20 minutes?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
So yeah, and then they're gonna have 10 minutes for opening and closing statements as well. Lyndon's
John,
here.
I saw.
Lyndon's here.
Hi,
just got home.
Lyndon.
Lyndon,
Hello, I just got home.
you're the star. Give us your thoughts on the final two.
They're so hot.
Yeah, but which
All
one
right.
do you want to vote for?
I really, really want to hear what they both say because I had a lot of fun working like with both of them in different respects, So I'm turning on my lights, got my lizard. So I really just want to hear like all the little story things they're gonna share. It's very dark at my phone.
What do you feel like you need to hear from them to be willing to vote for one of them to be the winner of Big Brother Disney Second Chances?
That's a good question though. I don't really know how to answer. I just kind of want to hear like how they own their games,
Mhm.
That's kind of how I feel too.
That's
feel
the
like
that's the general consensus.
The general consensus seems to
But
be
that's
that we
just like
want-
how I like to do it in general. It's not like
Yes.
just specifically those two.
Yes,
Um,
we just want to hear them take ownership. Now, I do have one more question or at least one more question for all of you. Another kind of like open forum. This is Big Brother Disney Second Chances. This is all of your second time in the series. Are you taking into account the difference between their first and second seasons when it comes to representing the Second Chances season at all? Or are we just looking at it from day one of this game to right now? And if it's one or the other, why? Mikey.
So like personally, I don't. I mean, I think both of them obviously improved from their previous game. And I'm from the same original season as Marcelo, so like I'm definitely holding that in my heart a little bit. I would love to see an Animal Kingdom person take the crown, but like I want to go into it with like an open mind and just hear what they have to say about this game, because every game is different and they both have some explaining to do. So I want to be biased and root for my Animal Kingdom brother, but like I think what's important is this game for me.
For me, I saw all of Jill's first season because like I was there. I have no idea what Marcelo did in Animal Kingdom. I did not pay enough attention to Animal Kingdom, so I can't fairly judge like the previous season. So therefore, I got to go with just this one.
Yeah.
For
No,
me- Okay, you want to? You go.
No. I was just going to piggyback off of Mikey and literally pretty much almost say the same exact thing, because Mikey was who I was able to see. I wasn't part of the BB family during season 1, so I mean I don't know Jill's game except what I can see on the chart and stats. So that's it. I mean I love my stats, but I need to know more.
Pretty much the stats are the whole thing. Wasn't there that long. The stats were.
I know. I mean, I don't know why she went, like that type of thing and everything.
That's
It was me. It's not even me taking credit. Like I was the HOH. I did it.
Yeah.
I think from a now non-outsider's perspective, but a semi-removed outsider's perspective, having no experience with this game or really any game in general prior to last season, personally, I can only really judge on what I saw this season. If it had been somebody from my season make it to the final 2, then I could have taken something like that into account. But none of us made it, unfortunately. And I do have to really put my stock, whether rightly or wrongly, in what we all saw with our own eyes. And then once we got out with our own eyes from a semi-detached view in this game here.
And I don't know how much stock we could put into like how they played their last game and how it's changed this game. Well, like it could easily just be like just playing games in general. Like
Yeah.
if I
That's true.
like I think most of us have made it to the end. Like we've had, especially like me and Timmy, you know, we played seasons 1 and 2. Like that was a far time out. For me, it was almost exactly a year ago. It was a bit over a year ago. And so you play more times, you figure out your strategies, you figure out what your strengths are, you figured out what you did right in this game, what you may not want to do in this one. So it's going to be very tough to sort of like gauge like especially like when Jill played in season 1, Marcelo played as recently as 4. Like I personally not putting that much stock in the track or the progress they've made, how they've been able to evolve their strategy as a whole. If it comes to like a narrative, you know, you open up, like it's like, you know, my first time I played this and this and this way, and I wanted to come in here, sought out to do this. And then from there, it's based on success in enacting that pre-game strategy. I think both of them, if the only thing prior to the game I want to account for is what they sought to do here.
That literally is what I was going to
That's
say.
what I was thinking too. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
their mantras in the game, how they perceive it, the social, strategic, physical elements, where their priorities lie, how they were able to translate that into this game with this cast of this group of people. I think it takes a special type of person to cater to this composite of people. We play this game 100 times, maybe a bunch of people didn't win. Sorry. But point is, I'm done. I'm tired. But I feel like here, if we're going to crown a winner, you know, in the second chance, I want it to be someone who made the most out of it and played the most successful, most rational game of the two. And however they may have played in their past seasons, to me, and clearly to multiple jurors here, they're not going to put too much stock into that. So,
With that in mind, I think that I'm not going to put any stock in to the fact that this is their second chance, if any, because like if we were to put stock in that and to say like, oh, the second chances, they had to like prove that they made their second chance, they're in the final two.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like that's enough to say like they made the most of their second chances. And literally at this point, there is nothing else they can do. The game is in our hands now. All they can do is just tell us what they did. So just props to them.
Timmy?
I figured it was the easiest.
Timmy's raised hand is the cutest thing in the world.
It is.
I think just similar to what like Jacob said, it's difficult just to talk about like second chances on like actual Big Brother and Survivor are different than orgs because you play other orgs in between. So it's like what they've done their first time, what they've done now, it's like they've learned other strategy in between because they put both I'm assuming, I mean, I know Joel has, I'm assuming Marcelo has as well, just played other orgs between then and now. So it's like difficult to be like, okay, how did the strategy change from this when it's like they didn't necessarily learn it within that same capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the most stock we should put into it is who can compliment us the best.
I want them to say I'm hot because I know I'm fucking hot. That's
Yeah,
the
let's do it.
Honestly, those are the kinds of jury questions that I like asking. I like asking things like, which one of us should be in your spots? Like how I want to know like their perceptions on our games as well. Cause like it shows kind of like where they are, like game body versus genuinely making relationships with people. Are you taking note of what the people around you are doing? Are you just completely blind and only focused on yourself?
I will say like someone asked a question like that to say like you can't say like if like X asks it, then they can't answer with X just because like otherwise that's just a big moment for pandering. Sure. I've seen it so many times. So you get like
I want to hear them insult the hosts, but they can't call Keaton a duck.
oh, that's difficult.
That's so not nice.
Okay, but it always gets really sarcastic. I've seen it done before.
I want them to find something bad about Minor. I want them to figure it out.
Yeah,
That's
like
not
how can you
fair.
genuinely
You
do
can't.
that?
You
Yeah.
can't.
Minor, you
can't.
sleep
Exactly.
too much. Like
I mean, there's that. He gets whiny that I got food without him today. Like,
Can I have it? Okay, my next, sorry, I was asking for my next. So my next question is, can I get a show of hands? Is there anyone who can say going into tomorrow night there is someone they are by no, like under no circumstances voting for? Show of hands. We have
Oh.
one hand.
I'm
Jacob,
pretty
do you
told
want to
them
talk about
to be
that?
honest.
Jacob.
Nah. I no. I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Okay. To be realistic, it's like a 99 to a 1. Realistically, so I guess there's a chance, but like I really feel like the person I'm leaning in favor towards here really has to mess it up for them to not get my vote. I'm being completely honest.
Okay.
Your 2 votes.
By
Your 2
2 votes,
votes.
yeah, right.
Jacob,
the
can
power
you
you have
give
is
one vote?
immeasurable.
Wait, can Jacob split the votes and give one to each?
Yes.
well, can I at least have
He's just like too much responsibility here.
Spicy. I'll take it.
No, yeah, you can definitely do that.
I'll take it. I only have a fifth of a vote.
I
Also,
want,
for that question, Madison's like an eh for me.
I want Jacob
I-
to give one of his votes to Sandy.
Same.
Yes.
Oh, it's all going. It's all
I
going.
miss that queen. I'm so sad about that.
Julia just spoiled the person that he's going to be voting for.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Julia.
Oh my god. I really
I'm
like
voting for him.
to just tell this like not like obviously having
Point of
personal opinions, but like focusing a lot on like what they say, I feel like is a really big thing. Like I could be like, I want to vote for this person. And then they could be like, I did everything myself and I'm so hot and everybody's ugly. And I'd be like, wow, fuck you, get out of here.
Did you say you have a fever now, Heather?
Because I voted
That
for
sounds
Nick.
so familiar to what I think I'm going to experience elsewhere tomorrow, but
What do And I spoiled it.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Probably am.
Because he's gonna vote for Sandy.
Okay.
I'm voting for Nick.
And like,
Wait.
Wait, I thought you were voting for me. Oh wait, you already did.
No, I'm dirty, dirty. Oh, Jesus. Wait.
Damn.
Oh.
That's fucking savage.
Yeah.
I love you, Jacob.
That was good shit.
Don't forget, Marcelo and Lyndon also did. So
Okay, that makes me feel better. That does absolve.
Sorry.
no, you're not. Don't lie.
I'm scared now.
A little sorry. I do miss the tiny hands.
you just never know, like.
Tiny hands, tiny. Yay! You know Mikey doesn't hate you if he'll bring out the tiny hands. That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Died.
So that's the thing about this group is we have not really had like any overwhelming like fuck you type of like encounters. Like
I was nicer
Like-
than I was in season 1.
I
All
don't
my
think that
encounters
would be
were
hard
fucking
to
encounters
do.
that season.
I mean, we like I said earlier in the chat, like this, we have not exhibited EPCOT behavior this season.
We are too good for that.
And I just
Yeah.
Y'all
realized
have redefined Epcot behavior. I will.
Let's go.
the only one from there is currently on prod that's in this Zoom call now.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Damn.
Yeah.
I step in.
She then
There's-
learned Animal Kingdom behavior afterwards. So
So proud of Animal Kingdom. That's all.
yeah.
Same here.
Where
Yeah.
y'all sent my people whole back to back. I was.
I literally kept saying in our group, I was like,
Listen.
how have they let our whole entire season get this far to the end?
Yeah, we made it ridiculously far.
And like even up until the final 3, two of them were Animal Kingdom. We could have had an entirely Animal Kingdom final 2. And
We could have done an entire Animal Kingdom Final 4.
we could have if we
But-
didn't get John out. If we didn't backdoor John.
Yeah, if only y'all didn't backdoor John, you know. Shout out.
Listen, I think what you guys had was better than what happened to us, which is they lined us up, they shot 3 of us, they misfired and got John, and then got me.
Y'all just cut my leg off at the beginning. Y'all just said clunk, clunk, and then I'm just like chilling there as the last Hollywood Studios person standing at Final 14. I wish I had an Animal Kingdom. I wish I had that, but no.
Animal
God.
Kingdom
We
was
had
party
an
time.
Animal
That's
Empire. We
Yeah.
had an Animal Empire.
It was the
baby.
Empire.
that was our chat. We
Animal Empire.
Good
That's
shit.
That's good.
we were
I know.
Good time.
I
All
can't
right.
wait to see the like list of all the alliance names at the awards
Oh, it's
because
so
I know
good.
there were. I know. There
I
were
hope
so many.
Madison picks one of mine as her favorite.
Don't we
Jacob
all,
has already
Betsy?
requested that
Yeah.
one of our calls become part of the promo videos. Now Jacob and I having a 45-minute call with both of us being shirtless.
What the heck?
Now that's
The-
a party.
The amount of times I was on call for like a competition or something, and Madison goes, "That's going in the promo." If I had $1,
It literally, every
really
single
didn't
call
hear
I got
that a
on,
lot.
I went, "That's promo."
Oh my
I
god,
loved
guys,
it.
they're about to do the vote reading in Coast to Coast.
And
Oh,
Nick is
no.
literally watching
I
the
don't care.
CTC tribal right
Yeah,
now.
okay.
I don't want to hear about it.
Okay, I kind of
Yeah, while we're still
All
recording.
right. Yes,
Here,
no,
Alex,
okay,
I'll
okay,
share
okay.
it. I'll just
shout
show
out to
you,
shout out
Alex.
to
Here you go.
CTC on this
Yes.
recording. Absolutely, we stand CTC 100%.
We do.
Oh,
We
they
do.
can't see.
Yeah, we stand CTC, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Aw.
okay.
None
We
of
stand-
us were responsible for you going. Just know that.
Well,
Okay.
Someone that's involved in this call was. Sorry, go ahead.
Oops.
All right. So, is there anything else that we want to discuss about our lovely, lovely final?
2 votes Ali, 2 votes Eric,
Oh,
I thought that was mine, and I was like, no, I'm fucking muted. I'm not. That was not me.
that's so funny. Okay, well, I'm not hearing much of anything else. So with that, that will conclude our jury roundtable for Big Brother Disney, Second Chances, Epcot. Thank y'all so much for being here. We will see you all tomorrow night, starting at
We're gonna
10.
party.
It is going to be a party. We are going to roll through opening and closing statement, or like opening statements, jury questions, closing statements, and then we will immediately ask for your votes. Following, you'll have a few minutes to deliberate, but like you'll know by the end of it. We will do winner reveal immediately afterwards, and then obviously we will follow that up with awards and all the fun stuff and finale reunion, all that jazz. We'll have a cute little call and smoke and drink and have a good time, and I am so excited and I love you all. All right, with that, we'll see you real soon and have a magical night.